Live from the atrium of Maison Radio Canada in Montreal, 4 federal leaders will debate for your vote. The leaders are here and ready to go. Mark Carney, Pierre Poilievre, Yves-François Blanchet, and Jagmeet Singh. They will debate the major challenges facing our country, from tariffs to the cost of living, public safety, energy, and leading in a crisis. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Paikin, your moderator for tonight's debate. Each leader has agreed to the following: no notes, answer the questions, stay on theme, stay on time. How much each leader speaks will be counted on these clocks, visible to the leaders and to you at home. This is the 2025 Federal Leaders Debate. Well, welcome, leaders. Good to be with you here tonight in Montreal.
Kakyo, otakia, kanigane tamage ikospî.
Threats to Canada.
Eromamnigan, kamstagi tamagoy kapitchikati. Egotansi nakatokia, kanâta siom. Mr. Carney Nigan.
For negotiations, Mr. Carney, with the United
States. Mr. Carney, omotegi timigumanago akimihci ticket. Tansige kihci.
May I thank you and also
Stam.
fellow leaders
Kakyo nganasko magmeno wata kawitra postorit. Egogista kihci kautot kantotamik.
because I think the
Woman no temas kutaman. Oma kichimogomanak. Kagiwira toskemaya.
has fundamentally changed because the
Nana tuise miskutsapain kakyogi.
so
Kakyogi miskutsapain.
has to be one of
Tanta kamachistaya. Tantsema kigomem emaskositotama.
control of our own economic
Tanano kistano tagiwe empaistaya.
to build this economy, to diversify our trading
Kaoma
like-minded
uyutsun kantonama
also has to have a position of strength
egomina
in terms of our reaction
kamoskositotama kigoma kaimamsitotama
tariffs that have maximum impact
egomotsomota kago kan koskoitotamoma kamstagi tamago ikigomota kiemaga Mr. Poilievre tanskaitoten hi Steve egominoga kutagota kabadat mietenotean kigo pitos ngaitoten mga schools kistanoganut na koke kitsumogamanak kamstagi tamago kigo kagas kistano kapamisua tanskaitoten pitos kamaskositotama pokigo liberal government oge en istuiguago kakyogigo stegigo soneo emisnat
incapable of shipping our resources
muy kaskistanogigo katogia utagigaya
so what I do
muy no postamasonano tapskotue taxes ngagis senegone ego kotakagi ngaspagepten katawa gigigo
from a position
That's good, President Trump. Ang ibo stoya, so kapoya, Mr. Singh, kiamaga, oge, kichimogomanak, that's good. Kashwit atos kimak. Kwapastiano. That's what I kakyo yotaga kantotami. Kwapastiano. Oga kichimogomanak, border town gintong akti yopiyanista. Ego, egiwi tap sum teoma. Utego tagay wichagati kamtipas kanigetos uta kanâta ski cikâstêpayicikanihk magamit tapagamiopain Donald Trump dan sigitota kanâta enutnat mawinêskâtowak ewan otaiwa Donald Trump stay muy kimamsitotona ego ya no muerta ya no kagito tamaso no gigoi mugata kichimogamana kamamsita toago ya no kagitano con posta masua Mr. Blanchet yamaga tansekte tengia egoma kamstita maga gigoi michet kakio muta Quebec muy no te monia ma negote Mr. Wojciechowski. Mr. Trump, I hear you in my maga, umota, Mr. Wojciechowski, Muim stegi way.
voice in the negotiation.
Stegi way. No, APTN. Mage go pitos ke ispayiki way. Otam stogosi waske. Ego kanâta ski tansige matse ho. Matso nam pagamina mama kanâta tohye. Êkwa. Nistanan. Ngalap ganan pitos kinwâpahtâ magi way. Awene to go peni ganapche. Maganistan ko ito toskema nan kakiowiak. Ispayiki way. Nistanan kanâta gatswa.
Okay, we now move into open
Hi,
debate.
hi.
And I'll start it off, Mr. Carney, with you, and then we go from
Mr. Carney, êkwa.
dollar for dollar
Kihci.
tariffs, even if they
Kitoskak. Okay, kamstagita koma. Kamstagita magwaki way. Moya.
From dollar for dollar.
Asi.
We have to
Asi nan datagaponan.
the United States economy is more
Kakio pranspona
than the economy.
we saw Gichmogman kamstagita kiway.
Is to have maximum
Tapskotamota.
United States is
Kamstagita magway.
impact here. So we have to think about the impact.
I want Pagamam to Natama. Tansis Pagamskak way. Big Kovitamat Giwayom. Tapskotota kamstagita magoya.
If they maintain
Okay, Segapay Sakawsha, Skotagana Takitin. Sonaga Ogota. Mio Paingigo.
that have jobs and plants and production in Canada,
Otaskono Kaitama Kamamskota Magaya Tsugoke.
they ship
I go Mumstagita Mog. Uti. It's Sagagi way.
have carbon
Gichmomanski.
sector. Last point,
The Comino Atagi way. Segapay Sakapatita.
they can remain competitive with the United
We start a Soka Powak.
jobs, maximizing the harm in
The
the
Comina.
so that
Atoskion Getagon.
Mr. Polyev, who went in, then Mr.
Santeno Depia.
Mr. Carney,
Mr.
claim that you want our country to respond with strength.
And doit Mr. Carney. And doitaman Gasoka Poya. Uta. Tata Skias Pinoche.
Trudeau's economic advisor.
Kagiga Gitap Justin Trudeau.
It's been the worst
Magam Drake Swap Snano. Tonegui Kine Swat Snano. As Nectagatoskinoche.
supported blocks of pipelines in Canada.
I go more stop it.
Donald
Man.
Trump in the U.S.
Just help me. Happy.
over our energy.
Kushi Chigati.
Now you want to keep in place
I wanna. I go in doitamanegua.
the
Bill
liberal
C69 Oma.
new development law that blocks
Liberal Soga.
shipping our
I
resources.
go money and I give you dog in Aniki go Gamaski. That's my ski time. That's it. Take them and get me up Paigoma. Come here to get some more man. I come so up sick.
How much these
Now, apart the Manoma.
have weakened our country.
Liberal policy to it. Today, in this what's here.
Sure. If I may, yes. So let's go to my record. My record is one
Ota, no party attack.
goes to the
That's a it's a Toscan, yeah.
but doing the right thing for Canada.
Maga, Suksna, no ma.
Prime Minister.
Pwede sa megweta tutamo kaganata. Ninto mo kakyote. Kaniganap check.
The indigenous
Utamin kaniganap check. Agam te pas kan. Pwede sa tingimam skutsanan.
to have one Canadian
Êkwa.
economy instead of 13.
Big pogo kaganata. Askiga tosked muy to sap.
So free trade in Canada by Canada Day. Thirdly,
The dap skut. Sto.
with respect to projects,
I go federal government. We stoga.
thirdly, one project
I go mansto.
relying
That's
Kakyo.
yes, it is
Kamam si dotame. Kamam si dotame oma.
the impact assessment audit. It is agreed under the impact assessment
Igita po tame oma. Oma. Kamam skutaman.
already. Looking forward to the
Bisia se goma. Snioti. Asego ni imam skutamana nak.
We agree around having a strategic response to the United States. But what I'm
Agom tape tan skeri tatos kimi tu ki chukmanski. Asu ta kagana taski. Atos khata ne go gutta. Kagana taski ski twinok. Mi cheto motte wanita. Otatos keuno au. Magoga bimstagi tamago yoma. Mstagi goi. Piaps khagatos khata check. Wanita. Otatos keuno. Agom Mr. Carney. Getwain.
the first thing you did
Kuapatinan. Tansin notisi checking.
millionaires, which was reversed
Tax kisaman ogota gamsunia getik mogonek magui ko guta o tatoske sagoge mo chagastamo chiki goi ego michecho tatoske sak ego tagita chikati te wanita chik tatoske taske pai anego eto chik
years ago that would have worked. But right now,
nemtone oskia batega taske magan magegano muimias negoma steo ge te pai ge chego tatoske sak Muiste suonage te kamitsu te no te peo kahiogi goi. Muia quaitikamuti spetaman. Tone kiwem stegi paramskago.
Yeah, Mr. Carney, you are becoming a real Canadian leader, saying one thing.
Mr. Carney tapue kinote peno kinote ni gana pen pampe wote kaitin snioti. Agwegito inaya. Parce que te up mi api we so gastain.
2 days later in Montreal,
Magego ni sui tangi goi.
without the approval of
Mug singeto tan getwen.
emergency power,
Oge Mr. Wasiowski. Awi samot magego. Tabe tat noe.
Trump. However,
Mr. Trump tas ko stay iktamai gono. Big top this big top sego mangam baitan. Kaya gan katape to te gona. Mr. Trump. Magego gonna poka kanut nama.
for Ontario,
Stay say Sonia say emission at the mission giving.
United States to the
Tapskuto we saw Mr. Bama Tsugoge.
Let's get from
Mr. Wasiowski.
response from Mr. Carney.
Well, Mr. Carney,
Mr. Carney, Kiego.
the question about pipelines. Just the other
Bueno te mamsko tamegoma. Skip me a pioma. Egito toma and toitamoma.
the Americans get 90%
Magatan se temagoma.
of our natural gas export.
Ogogi gitumogomana schemes. Stay gasting it gomota. Kaskeup miote.
Just to get it back.
Kaskeup mio muta.
And now
It's samani gano te gitumogomana skiote. Kapetsega te
pipelines, the 14 biggest
Mr. Wasiowski.
companies say it has to go if we're ever going to build.
Nigan Kispen Kotaki no Teositano, Mr. Carney Quechama, Tane Kakanoita, Uma,
Donald Trump
Skilp me a Pio Muta,
on our same
Donald Trump, Kakiogi,
do not repeal this liberal
Sitoscano,
because you are exactly
Tapskutum Liberal,
in the same line as Justin Trudeau.
Tapskud Justin Trudeau,
That is now
the Liberal team, or going to get Sitoscotic.
Let me pick up a couple of points that have been made. The first thing,
Mutanigan, Nisogi, on Stomgagi Totaman,
that's first.
Mr. Carbon, Mr. Trudeau, Taki, Summit, Meet.
All proceeds from our tariffs
Kakiogi, Gamio Pike.
and those companies, most of
Êkwa, o kigo ga pega, o tatsoske sa kagatin geo.
Steve, if I may address, I'm trying to do it quickly because several points raised.
Ego matay no te chasta piano.
And the firms most of
Ego gi ga sonage pai. Ego ngo ichigo o tatsoske ego sto.
interested in getting energy infrastructure.
Nisto me ento esta man. Taki ga mio pai. Tapskut. Skeo mi a pioma.
And we've already moved
Ego som ge si totaman.
cooperation.
Así, o tapegospi.
We are a federation. You need to cooperate.
Kakio ave katapeta. O que me da Mr. Wasiowski. Vista katapeta.
You can do that.
Ne hiyo mi katapeta. Kagi to tena no kama. Ekskagita yo muta.
As well as
Utagagi mamope.
using emergency powers to fulfill the federal
Tapskutski goi.
but not the unique.
Ms. Polyev, you want to come back on that?
Federal logo te vista katapeta.
Is
Mr. Kern, that's no 8 no ma.
the no new
Moi gagi mio pain.
69 guarantees
C69 no ma.
stop shop because it
Maki goi.
the government of Canada
Stay gama nato gi mio tsige magan. Maga. Kagi yo me kagi tame to tamagi goi. Tansum ge to tenya. Kisi ta.
we should have strong
Mr. Singh,
enforced ones. We should
pogo kagi goi. Kapsa magi goi. Ego ma kapsa mam sagame.
15 years to get a major
Te profesor pio skies penomota. Goi sme mio paiki goi.
we've had
Ego che on tata skiota. Moem stegi goi. You see go no.
afford
Stegi goi nista.
we need a change
Rebel term suma. Pogo kamis ta stagi goi.
the anti-pipeline law
Tapskutski goi. Oma kam script tamagi tamoma. Stop me happy.
Pro-pipeline. I think what we need
I want to know chota. Etotama. Oma liberals get talk.
that's what they did.
Stop me happy.
If we're talking about energy in our
Tachino te totama. Kiwa sogi maga.
use our powers
Tapskutski goi.
build a national
Esok sio maga. Soksin nopti ta taga sogi atse.
low-cost
O teni ganoma. Sakta patama.
across this beautiful land and have
Absoluta te paskewa, amiskut ta te paskewa ta. Ako ng minister, tunga sona kamio pain. Kiwa ka sona ge bai.
The pipeline built, yes, TMX built.
Ako mai
Oil exports up 50%.
stop me apioma, wasi chikati. Ako magotak, Mr. Singh,
Right about the East-West grid.
eta puita na, kete tawa.
Huge opportunities.
Hasta pues, kaman pita tos kemo, kwes kamio pain on ta kanata skigi ko in stom.
Far more than Donald Trump can ever take away.
Dan steino kasoksna no, speed Donald Trump ota. Maga.
Look at what Ontario
Akio ta puita to ago, ita tos kem to ago. Anos kaito es kogo to vista skiga na gogota.
Monsieur Blanchet,
Kya no ma, and sim na mo
in our negotiations with the United States.
I want
Da chikti kya ki chukamana skiota. Mr. Carnier gaito. Muy ga skitana no. Ki goi.
Quebec
Ego chino. Muy gonna ki we simitik.
environmental review institution. And you cannot
Great poki we ke tastai.
through a Quebec
Muy federal we are ke ta switch.
over the back, as we call it. If the map
Tap switch muy we sa se kame ispayiki. Muy ta pe ta ga we.
good. I know.
Na mo e ka ta.
This is the point.
Ispayiki.
If I may. This is the point. The
Kispano moma o mi tota. The federal government we sta agin ta pe na makki we.
by the decision of the Quebec map.
We sta go ta.
Government's power.
That was Mr. Gosio ke to ta ke. Ego mama ita to skemton.
I mean, this is what we need to do in a crisis.
Tan so meno te to ta moma.
the building of those pipelines will take
Ego mama stop me a pi
14
kinwes.
Mr.
Tata skis kon no sa paski. Akse Mr. Trump ke am ta tom ta no ke ta top ne okspe spai yomota.
Before you can even dream of
Ma pogi we.
oil through this pipeline.
Kakaski sa no ki we. Kakusi tai goma.
After the last 10 years of liberal bloc,
Tata skiota. Liberal so kanana gina koma.
actually,
Stop me api. Ma pata timi na toskion. Pugo kami skutre pinga. Conservative plan am gosita.
it will create a true
Kuta ka gosita na no. Tape. Kya no ka skita no ka ki wi gota.
we can approve LNG liquefaction
Kita no. LNG liquid fact ka ki ona ka get mai no. Economy ka ki wi go. Ka ki wi go. Stop me api mi na.
the power we need
Ekona ento estama kaso kapoe so ke magagi we kapata.
Okay, quick word. Bringing it back
Scratch Mr. Carney.
talking about, which is tariffs,
Anu was kaiton.
how to negotiate.
Ego mom kam sagi mago e tan sagi to tama.
These options to
Ego no ento tamo ho e.
one Canadian economy.
Kisa no
We need to act.
kaso kapoe.
And that will give us nice
Ego kisa no
time. Okay.
koito to skem te ampo.
A heavy guy here every now and then, making sure.
Ego ampanista.
And I'm keeping an eye as well on making sure that.
Ego mom na kato ganista. Koi switch koi kapaki kapi switch. Ego mapo ego miske paina no.
Cost of living.
Tan se matse.
our goal is
Ego ka maskote no.
housing construction. It will lower your bills, build homes you can actually afford.
faudra parler des entreprises du Québec, des travailleurs du Québec.
A big, powerful bring it home tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building.
Idea, one-on-one questions followed by open debate.
Hua hiksuma onîkânêwak ka kiawe goma Polyev kianigan
Ambitious housing targets, none of
mstahaya mam skuta magoma waske kana goma ka kege we oma kam stagi ti goma he wa ke we ka te peni hame he go ga no tsaya nioma Polyev nuiton
you could buy a
umta metata taskioma skoyano $50,000 ho tsaya kakaskita no aske kan ka tawin magi kwa notes anochi kwa hiwin pa kwa ka kitik yuma G7 oma uskaya ke kwa notes ma pwe ke te peni hama kwa aske kana po ke te yak kosta maga pwe ko kwa ya wi peni tsi ko samwe ke te ni ha kwa aske kana iko oma peak iko magai si kata kum federal sales tax ka kiskini na niego iko mina ya taskutsuk waske kana kausihta tsukogi kunikmina kakiskin katige ewa nsto ewa mina taskuts waske kana kakiskini tsikani haya land taxes kaisi katakik usam kiuma kantoitamana ya waske kan kakaskehun katawinan waske kan ewa humaya tansmagaya aya kiuma jack meat sing tan sumakis sisaya kakaskitana ya kay stipini hami homa mitson taskuts michito kay tuitsik muyumi kay tipini haman mitson kwayas katawiano sam kakigi kwayim stagitik homa taskuts minohe waske kana usam kiwima hikwaya kagitiki mini kuneni himui kay tipini katewa Iwa mino taskuts mitsun numa kaginakin nama hekaya kamstagihtamya. Iwa mina taskuts ukaya kaisi kasachik corporate landlords hikunakang mina kaginagini tsukusam kiwima mamstagihitsigiwag. Mwikway sukam tutamok. Taskuts minuke kaisi kata koga corporation sugim stigima koge hikunakok minan tunim stahaya susquats aya way sita sug kakigigway imstagitakik. Iwa kiumaya aya planche kikwitsimit noma umocha kitea kapamihitsik kitis na yakanahoya. Taskuts aya koya sugaya liberal suge mwikway siyo tsipamiha tsigaya hito tawa tsigaya kitea taskuts uge 65 and over kay tahtapuni tsiguge koya sangi kunikagiwi tsihitsik koya skahkiyo kaktapmihitsik iwa taskuts minuge kahkiyo koya skawi tsihitsik kahkiyo kanâta mahitsik mwikatats Nstaigi kaya katipahakik taskuts ukaya kaan skotipahakik uma taxes kaisi katama ikunienihe kahki uma susquats kaya saisino kagiktabmi taskuts uka suni kihtiya kuge kamamskomayakik taskuts uma waske kanahohe kaya kakaskihutsi katipahakik taskuts ukihtiya kasuni uyawaw. Iwa Mr. Carney kiwa mnoti kui chimtan o som waske kanihki on. Iwa expioge liberals kagi niga niutsik. Tansigi iwa maya kisiktapahti nomo waske kanihki on uti kispin pihtakuinikia. Magi iwa kahkigi iwa masuskwaatsi iwa himstagitik. Magaya niuya ngaisiktapahtin Gaki switch hawa kay sinuwag pitos gakutsitan taskutsuma waske kanihki unuma mstahiyaya taskutsuma Second World War squaya saspiniki usitsakatiki waske kana itahiki igetoski magake magi wano tse Mr. Polyafo kwania aya itapogihtamagi kay piawangi kay siktapahtama magi wa gawitsihawg waske kana kamahmiagik pogawyak ko waske kanit kahkigi kay taskutsu kaya Canadian lumber kay sikatakik ikunenihe Canadian workers mina hutatuskahagan nakikunakanguya kusitatsik kakamimok michit kusitatsik waske kana hiwakia polyaf kiwa huma GST huma hiwakiuma Mr. Singh tansigi kagiskanin siumaya GST kay sikati tapoy gakaskita na kagiskin naman iwama GST michit pagawya iwama kawitsiekwag GST kay giweya katipaykatik iwaman skotipayki unoman stahaya muimiawasan iwego kaya taxes katipahaki koge iwanakangwistawaw hiaimitsa katipahaki iwama kawitsiekwa kumiago Iwaminaya tapoy. Iwakioma Mr. Carney kakwitsimten. Tani huma $1 million kamit. Iwoge kutaga kawitsihi tsagoge mstahe ka sunyaki tsag. Iwoge tani maga tax tasguts kagaki skinatsig. Ikunikangge mstahi GST wistagage te pahakik.
Well, Mr. Carney, the reality is
Iguaya polyafo pigskum Mr. Carney kiuma kspi liberal sumga ginigani jing tunumige win pa iguaya kakitigi waskegana. Kiama pia kwan kiste kwa maya hewawi suwa tamagin tasko choma kista pia kwan higi tuitawa Trudeau higi wiga kiskina ikaya kamstagitigi waskegana katipini hamigwes maga pia kwan omix mimo che kistawao ikuita suinoma igwa liberals minogi gituichik kakigi kwe su squads iwi suwata ke kwistawao maga nia ngakaske hon kakisk samano maya GST mwigi kwe ya mstegi kwe katepahami ki kwe ositake taskuchuka ya okiti uskaya kuge trade sega snamak sto usitata waskegana iguneni he kagaskita waskegana katipini hakik katipita masutsak waskegana aha Carney magagia ya polyaf iguma carbon tax uma kimam skutin magigwe kwa mispayo carbon tax uma kai sigatik magigwe kwa mami kwa chigwa tepayakatio igwa nina nigwa nuwiktapahtna noma waskegana homa tansuma ki sipam nami waskegani ogoget tanse ki susita waskegana pogawya kakio katipini hakit ewa mino waskegana tasko 20% ya kagiskinami chapasiski ispayiki kunyanihe ewa iksuma kagiskinami ho hepogati kigwe tasko zum 20% iksipokis tipini hakik waskegana ewa hawaya plans tu ikoga big squid kia kiitoan kahkigigwe nagatsihtain skoya chuta kagituya ewa haya tasku chumat kutakahkigwe katipini hami kimam skutini kunenihe ayam steigigwe kiwe makamagwe kumstahe ikaskitain ikunenigi kanatamagin ikaskitain kapam naman ikunenihe koyaski sasuki ispayiki kispaitain iguma Cayman Islands sumakamam skutaman kikway magi kunenihe ikunikuge taskuts companies kay sigatige kikwayang kikunigi tipita kikutia kamaski igwa singwiawa magigwa Minister of Housing kitago under Stephen Harper to tamta to tipia giusita waskegana nikotwâsik poko giusita waskegana igwa kikskitina no kiwi chigate wigwanba ni nikotwâsik poko waskegana giusita chigikspiu Trudeau kaniut igwa mina igwa nikuma company makaisi katakik taskuchuma Toronto iguti koyas igiatawi chigi kunenihe igiatawi chigi kuneni waskegana koyasina na patsitachik iguniwa huiaokuta mstahe renti kitakik iwewi sahwachakutaka isino ikutots
the Toronto Star debunked your falsehoods.
Neither Liberals or NDP are very good with math, but in that
Liberals igwa NDP oge mwiwa iskaskita oga gichik
in the year I was
igwa Mr. Singh Paktan ka peak squid
2,000 homes built and
igwa polyafit tuwawa skitin 450,000 piak waskegan 1 bedroom
and that's since that
$900 igitagitik piak kaya bedroom igwa ni so ka tasko chigwe tipahami hiwama tasko 1,800 a month tasko chigi tipahaki kunani hiwa
we don't need more bureaucracy
magigwa
Ottawa. We try
uma nanato kai si chigi chagoma kai sa swata kik
homes in communities. And that means access
kigwa uma kantawitama mstaho waskega nintawitama katawi katipini hami
on housing we need to change, and you, sir,
igwa hohe Muyo maki Carney kuneni haya msaats kakaskitan kamiskut naman giwe humagaituin. Yekwa humaya waske kani ho he tasko he piagwa no he kakaski tsagatiwa katipini hami. Magi wanin ko to ko magamam skuta man kia sekoma tapuya mi tapuin. Ama 200,000 kay tuito polia figyo si tsagati moya mi wa mo chispayo niko to sa ganipo ko. Igi wan sto tami hamma. Iwan sto tsagati tanse our government koyas igi tastat taskuchoge private investment ito takik kay tahoma. Iksama po kakyo kakui totama koyas kakui tastaya. Humaga kigiwe uma susquats ka magwi huya humaga kigiwin pagi tigiwa. Hiwa kiuma kiaiwak no some stay peaks kuini ni ito magap sisi kwanga peaks kwan magaya muinanto no titon muinanto ke no tit noma magaya koyas ngawi tinoma koyas ngiton mui kakipia ko kamaten kiapok kagaskitain kapia ko itotaman. Mui kakiogi we kakiusitan ya humocha Canada. Mui kakikaskitan Quebec kapik squista mochik kia pokiti taman kapiaguin mui amma mui iksispayo kispin kintawitin kakio kamamawataski kakio kamamo kamatuya kistamma kawichita sun upmi.
Not interested in for the economic part and
Magiwe taskutskista kanuti wichita sunatsugutan kiwai Quebecois on tawita ka kanuti tutak mo kakaskita nikta kista ka kawichita swin.
I've laid out some of those things. I think fundamentally
Magiwa niyo masing niyo mapogo kakigiwe kaskitan inodin kistaman pharmacare kuma.
dental care, it gives people more
Iwaminaya dental care.
services if you're a senior and a kid.
Hiwamina taskuts awasak child care mini iginodin gistaman ni kwama kakiogoni intawitaman polyaf muiwa moya miwitam muyo chinodin na miwa moya
All the power to Mr. Carney.
mui
Doesn't have a track record.
kaki
More affordable for people.
kaki kaskita wa karni kwama kakioga na tamagi tatsugutan maga NDP uguyo kakigiwe kaskita ogegoni kana tamagi tsik
That's not who they care about.
Mstahe, gipik squista maga ni kuche. Ni na no mapogo kanata mata.
Today is taxes. More is going to spend on
Hanuchigwa, asemina taxes. Kakigiwe, po ay winsa, mitsun, kakigiwe susquats. Mstahe, iwin pahagitik.
conservatives have a plan.
Iwe ni hohe. Muy kaskita, mstahe. Katipahama, magaya.
15% for the average
Conservative soge. Pitawito. Kakaski hoge, kuneni he kanata magitsik.
because hard work
Iwa minoge. Kya pitsaya taxes nga kiskininan
very high taxes. Now the
tasku tsuma usam kiawima mstahaya taxes saya is aya hamatsui pitamok iwa homa taskuds mstahaya aya ay sinuwag itipayiki tsaka kiagiwe
affordable
You
home
want to save
on a
people
tasku tsuhe
that's what we will deliver.
toma katipahama tsago maga kan pahatuski tsagoge topogo
pharmacare care.
kawitsihi tsige kunikange
That's not a very good math deal right there. You're going to cut
Tani kimina, we are our single guide with
dollars. That's why you cannot.
tens of thousands of dollars. Ikuneni he kakigi we katipahami. Katipaha kiki kuneni he.
That point, and then I'll respond to Mr.
Magi kwanya.
Child
Karni kwa hawi toya. Child care. 3,000 to 10,000 haya piagaski. Hitipaha kikugu uniki humaug. Iwamina. Ita tante wigin papi to sumi tagitik. Taskutsuwaya dental kan dentist kan tawap matmina piawan. Hikumina piawan.
issues for affordability. We're talking about
Mstahi kwa maya.
taking them off.
Maskigi wino. Maskigi akiwe mstahi mstagitigi katipami himbi niego. Michi tay sinog no titipahamo
Yes, absolutely. Through
Magigwa.
the short-term
Quebec is pinuge.
working directly with
Gawita to skimaog.
the Premier of Quebec.
Quebecoge. êkwa Premier Quebec, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Finance, Quebec ang kutsi kung nagangge. Kakikikwe kapig squatamog. Nato kikwe. Êkwa Hawaii, Blanchett ito. Mats piagwa makia yu pig squasin nia nankiwe higi mas namatan kapig squatama. Mats piagwa ko pig squasin.
Mr. Singh, sorry.
Êkwa wîwâ, Mr. Singh, wîwâwihtamâtowak. 10 years home, tata taski. Kaski tansik katawin mitsun. Tansuma waske kani itapami ano si tagitik. Tata taski. Pia kwanoge kakio liberals kaki tami kwanik kaki tami utnaikuk higo nagoge. Muigiwe kaski tatsi katotahik. Tansumaga kaki stapwi tatagigwe. Êkwa haya 10 years uta kapeg sali aya liberals higi pisaya hasutamagi tsak magiwe pitos kego chispayo ano tsoma tasku tsoma giwe katte pahami homa êkwa gamam skuma wa Trumpawa kiwa ipo kusi katotama kakio kakuima mawinêskâtowak kamiuitsitoya chasku tsoma child care, health care, kakigigwe. Êkwa waya polyaf aya. Uya waya Blanchett wa. Tone papik school squads muy miwita. Tansu kakigigwe tasuuna. Tansmaguhe kakigigwe. Hiksuma tama êkwa skup tama êkwa kwam kapig squatina no. Wîwâwihtamâtowak kutagagoge.
And to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong.
Keep crime, drugs, stolen cars, and other illegal substances out of our country.
We're going to invest in our borders, and that means hiring more border officers.
Resources are in short supply, not enough staff. This is not the nice way to treat people who come to our border.
Okay, same format, one-on-one question.
How you go? Kawasami no guitim no. How blow shege go? Kenigan. How guma miya on. Guma kamagui go ma fentanyl mi got. Tanska is nagin India. Guma fentanyl matapwe. Tun kimagui go no ma magamumste. Tun tapwe ni nan Quebec magabi ni tiwa. Agamaski wino go kapito ko hitsigmina. Tun po bawit na papiahtik. Kaktapahtami. Igomino wesu no he. Muita pue atitan stuhtina no atitmina gin stuhtina no. Magogwes kaktapahtami he. Igo katoskatami. Tas kutsuma. Piego isino. Iwama kapito ko hituma. New osci. Kanusi tawaga kapitiguit. Yugoga kakioga aisino go Quebecois. Muy tipni nan. Yugoma aisino gumstay pitawahitsik. Yugoga yugo muy goma squatsigi pama yugo muy mini mstigusimog. Yugoma Mr. Carney êkwa. Umutais kaya kata uyuma kitamu paskagana. Yugo giuma gagi papik squataman. Yuguma wesu no ma. Asko miupayo magam muy papie kaisino taskutsa muy ta puintana quest isikta is sami. Yugo gakioga kaktapahtama yuguma taskutspage ni nanoman kaniganista mama sutsanoma ngitan pasksaga no he tun iaimia ipihtigui Pitawata go nan haya paskana. Igunan into ka sugi paige. Igon 2000 haya wago ginagina. Igo tap to magapampa tauma. Igo magapam pigsquata me. Mr. Polyev ma now nisto ginagina. Igo gispino maganagina me guawa. Puga katapuita me. Mr. Polyev gegua. Ino goge. Mr. Ogi pahu chigoge. Tanskaito anigama aputu gama kaimastio. Igami dita mania. Mr. Iktemahi chigogi ino taskutsuma. Ngitao goge. Saskatchewan go gaisino goche. Igo gimpahitsig. Iwana kampa hatana 60 Iweswatit. Igo metataski. Igo liberals so kageatsig. Inagina much nagina kigama. Igo kiamatik skimichigangi. Gustitsig. Igo nana pogamaga suka poya. Kamiskotastaya. Igo menina nsto hegisen pigunamog. Iwama kaso kaptsig igo kagunoiti kagunaimi chiganga sino gutamaga pigunako he. Pasksaga no hagapchitatsig minoma agamaskiwino go kapakni chiga pitawahitsig. RCMP og smagan sagoga. Tanskit tano hai sing here. Tansoma. Huguma si piksquat chiga tioma. Kiwit no ho gaisino piksquatamog. Mstayawapahtamoguma. I'm so that's good. Notes kaiwe maya. I'm so giguti. Maga notes that's good. Tigamio pameha chigaisino. Giguti wik chigange. Kiwit no. In oginoge. Smagan sak. Skitina no mag. Pogo exusquat pegon. Kagi mio pamnit. Kantato skit. Kap matchehut. Ors sagmina kapam mamitoy chig. Huamanya nga toskatin. Kutakmina. Mioya onoma. Pamu isame maya gamga. Kanagina me. Pamu iska kegigama ispayiki. Taskutuguta is smagan sagoga. Aywa kusihihchig. Iptegwa naginina noma hoe kapitugit Canada. Ha Polyev gegwa. Iguma anutsum kapiksquataman. Kienigan. Iguma gawin naging gatigam uyasu natsio. Iguma Charter of Rights am magasigatigam umuma. Iguma Section 7 am magasigatig. Iguange. I see no one quest kisigtap meet. Magiguga kampatagi chigo gaisinog taskuto piego Moscow nikotwâsikosâp I see no a pask shot himpahat. Igo pieg pogoma 25 years ikpahut. Igo new skill mataskutsam itin tepaha kak pahutamma moix gispayeg usamuitasnio igo mstay kampatagi chigo gaisinog kinwi siguta kagignoimihchik hammina nistanan kispin tap dog kispin sto piguna mogo muyasun muiga paknao ko itakski chigamaya bahogam igo kuyasam kapmuhtichik igo metataskik ti kat paha kamikti pahuchik muigonta kapapaknichik tapuemma kaguy miskotastaya kakeo kaguy miupayeg. Mr. Carney, gegwa.
I think that the
Kitan sigwam kititin naging gati gamma. Guma ni na uyaso guma taskut kicho uniga nyoma. Kitapchik pugumyaw yawan kakegigoy. Kwa batina nom masnega na ma charter 43 haski goy ko. Anu tsume gwamego. start ko nam mi ko maya uyasun ka kui apchihta wa wisu to magyano higumum charter ma ka siga tigam higum ka kanoim guya tas kucho maninan gisga boy out unigani oguma putu ga kapchihta nan ki go kapchinagina magi go muy miosik maga antama tantama pakaji machita en tanti kanagan poliev tansige giton nista mantun nutikskitin karnioga gituit muy igintoihta kapchihtawa magi go tauksigaituit maga kitu putoga mumimios nigomma kapchihta kispinuma stamuesun apumina muistas kapchihta muikats taskuts kapata taskuto forta magagiuesui tansama gisapata magigwa tanike igota utini gana matan sisapata magigoge kapskichastigo haskia the Supreme Court toga kawya swata jam gwamma usamwihtamân Tego gat naginaman Mr. Singh go pixko poliev mu maya kagay tuito matas kutso magyan no magakyo tagani poya mu matas kutso magakyo Kispino makakoy mayakam goma igunagange koy swati chig magaw poliev kam pixkota king stuhtina no magakyo magani poya kisn koy hagam gan pahot koyas magi go muistas gumat kaytoya tapu magoyas suma mioyaon miumachehun pamuis guam titaguhtia tamagi go paskano he kagi muts pitogata tahiapatake moanega kantoy chagati guta gunanaga patake maga pamuis suta pitogata kagi naginama Igo gispinuta tangi smagan sagekta gagiahi chikagiwatahi chiguta poliev foga giniganit Iwan kinaginiog muimsta kietuskahiog tismagansa kanipoid poliev hamaga tansegega isapchitan igot moya charter magaitan masnekan Iguge Uyo kapakamskagot siguma pamanihatsig isinua iguma taskutsum yaima iguge kinuisuge kakpahuhtsiguge iguma kaima kapakni tsigange kamayagam kissig Kobahtina no Toronto taskutsuma smagan sagiguta witamoga isino Squad kimuttegang kaya Squad kimuttek sigipaisak tapasi tsagange squad kamiaegog iksangi aita tsaga isino migwad C75 migwad uesu ogoge nigunuke migwatsu maisino ogoge liberals ugut dasguts Iguamigin toita kama uesuun pelam magaisigatig tapto guamig situitsig Carney mioya on kagimiwit siguma Canada ta isinog Carney hawa pixko nistamik sigaitan piegoma ka pixkwatami iguma kagimutyo sigipaisak ka pihkoiki waskegana tansuma kisatoskatama pieguma igunuge kispeniksitagam gan kinis aputugen kaya kakpahuhtsig pasksagan kapata gang sandawichihui Sen kutihta nan mine gamma. Mina mstagihtiyo, mstagihti gamma ja koita hitaisino. Mr. Singo kaitu ito mina. Gamma tas kututi. Pamu isama ispayiki tama. Gamma ja katuskata mio kaya fentanyl magan kanûtânâhk. RCM piang smagansak. Drones minanga bimihagan sa. Yugo nagapahtâ. Yugunan kikonoichikioak. Yugunan kispin kinwâpahtâ mag imiosigio. Yugama pugakio matoskatama. Yuguma Mr. Singer Pixco. Yuguma. Mia on apum supechiki ono mantana kamaguigoya. Puitioma, puiti msonia. Imsoawane haya kai sinog. Yugo tansuma mia on mio mamtonitsigan. Paso gamgo. Pastio gamgo. Yugo Mr. Carney, Mr. Polyev. Mistake di taskuts mistake di sunyao. Kisipnit maga kiano ni nanoma. Pektamanton aiwagik ta sunya sikta kisipna ya. Kihci tasoya. Mom stops the harm magasigasachik. I see no go ge awasak. Stay. When haya kigunik. You go stahaga kiki suskats kagiruta moma katoskata magoge. Ugawima kantuhta. Mr. Blanche.
Crime gangs and organizations.
You go no gangs or crime or ka maya kam gistigo ga sinok. Ugunang kagwinagini chik. Msuipaichiga namin nga tawagit
Whatever else.
Paskiga namin na. Yuguno ga kiyomina.
Sales.
Yugo ka tawagit chigo he. Yuguno ga.
Being, you purchase a thing and selling.
Yugo ga tawagi.
Sold by those gangs. And we
Yuguno ga tawagi he.
from being
Yuguno gange.
becoming violent at church.
Katap maya kimina kanogay maya ko kachwasum snog.
This is the real
Uskay sino ko ke.
like I am.
Yuguno ko ko ke. Tunga gusta ke kana. Yugumo mutaya hagamaskiwin ko ke. Kapito ka hichik mana. Ikskita manoma.
They said that they had not considered.
Yuguma gito goma.
They have not considered Quebec language. They wanted
Yung Quebecois maya pixko no mstugusimon.
country by the
100 million.
Mr. Barton
Taskutuma.
told me
Mr. Bart no itamuto. Tipio.
about the Quebec difference in
Mots. Mamtanito mataskuts pitos.
now a close consider to Mr. Carney.
Yugawa karnyo anton haya. Yutitum to taskuts.
So it is impossible
Unama piakon ismamtanita taskuts.
people come into Canada
Yugon tunay maniga. Canada kakyon haya kapito ka chigo kay sino.
in secularity.
Yugama Quebecois ma big school tagon mioya on miumitsu nixise. Yugonan henton aimana. Magi ko kispinuma kawidutama. Wawit na papiatik.
Respect for them
Yuksamanton kapmamias nuista ohtsa sino gange.
all the time. We're terrified.
Palev. Yugo kay sino ko gimste henton ni big skatak niste. Ton bugata mo gamam subechigi onigo paskga no he. Apumina kamat machiwagi chiguche. Paskga na. Yugonan wakakyo gaya. You are one.
Illegally over the porous.
You are one we swata chigu gatit. Yugonan hantan ha kamayata kan ha kimuts pitotan ha
The police act
paskga na. Smagan sagoge.
in Barrie, in
Smagan sagoge. Barry.
Marie have all endorsed
Su Saint Marie.
that I will go
Yugono gakyo big squat to goge.
with 2,000
Yugonangin niya.
frontline border guards that
Yu nakatukia nang wigwinagin kaya kagimuts pitokata chik magigo kamachi huche paskga na. Yugonan hemunya magan
Quick intervention, Mr. Carney, then I got a question for each of you before this segment's out.
gakyo go.
We absolutely
Kagwichimp no go papiag. Carney. Yugono kamachi chigo gaisino. Yugonang ino mi na ni hio ko nui chahanan nistanan magi gumma pasksagan Montreal ma kaya ami got Toronto apuma tun mi jit bugat mo kustamok synagogue community center giruti chik abo snamato ham go he go ma kagwi nagina mo mapogo kagwi nagina me kitna tsum gaite oye go swati tuma oye kispen ikti oye igutama taskucha ya ipuata manam maya inagini chiguge iktiu kaituti chiguhe I sinok imiasni kiti mitahtat spaygansa tansumi tita migum tansum magwimunum igum antan mstaye mayakam gano mamigwats mitahtat skiuma mstaye pasksagana uran Carney gemaga Urumaya kono ichige oguge muimste magamaski pixwatina no China magtiti new titin Mr. Singyamaga paskana subaichigana yominan he kanagene meo kutagaya kamioshigan he Quebec yugo Canada ma muigaskita oma kanatamasya magu tasku to U.S. so no it's tasku to na tamagoyako how energy and climate tigoma washti país igual tansumi siuipa
major infrastructure projects including conventional energy
seeking thousands of dollars a year for each family to pay for the damages of climate change.
We can absolutely build important projects like an east-west energy grid.
Energy and climate change. I know how much all of you love talking
about Canada chugaya kagiusita chugo maya gastup me
Projects that are on the table, so it's not a specific
tans
project to look at.
muingskitino matansaya
The environment
tansum gitinatsu magantoy tino manton kispino maya
and allows for
kamiasik
to reduce their electricity costs.
muy kamstagihtigo ma
We're talking about what
biopskus diskutiu sigatamok
we're not just talking about a climate crisis in the far
tansum maya
we're living it right now.
tansi siu po mamigwats kamamiskut siu po mamigwat igoas skuwa igusta uchoasum sa goitahat igoniegwa uchoasum se anegwa diego nexisnisten isigustaman igomijit haisino mawinêskâtowak sisumantan ikospî muimin gipituitahtamok maya awassakuge
Kedo tama pogi sikastagi koi Mr. Polet tansagia egoma kiwega mago tegoma tega kamamis chigisiga tansikti tingia kapigeta atoskion msweski otruk ispayiki kitspin we sama ki we aywa muguski sagaponano Kakio si check nine oma. Na nagena mo hota kakio giwe. Katawa yegi we tata skip negama. Stay gonna me sugatos kyo. Ni no te begi tan kakio giwe. That's what you must be me. Kispen be me India samago. That's what was cikâstêpayicikanihk. 2.5 billion tons kaki kustano gigo tamanatistano tansume egome gesmiu paigota ikotoskion mstaigespai pigetatan kutageko Mr. Carney tansiktitinkia still me ketehtaman ikonnehi ogok tansuet yusitiratat stam otakamati tanot tapwe Muy mío paiki vota. Makakasuka gi kasukto sama.
A consultation with a purpose, which is to identify
Tapskote. Koitamat gi way.
of national
Kiwam kamio paigota. Kuyut simaga. Taskot ki way go pigimaga. Antoskion.
long-term competitiveness
Ka kiogi way gona.
and so
Kanu nga gona kapachita go mama.
indigenous peoples
Okay, nehio. Naskichuinok. We are got kiok to you a gram with chick. We star. Akimihci.
I can tell, like, you've got to tell on
That's what Chapasta man.
which is
Êkwa.
we're doubling
Êkwa. Katakosta. Kakiogi way. We star. Naskichuinok you. Kamio page is when I get by Nick.
My tell is my clock.
Hey, hi.
At zero, so that's how it goes. Monsieur Blanchet, do you
Êkwa. Monsieur Valanche, Kiamaga. Oma.
now apparently
Kastêpayicikanihk. But Mr. Wojciechowski. Much as Kogi, Mam Scotinan, Êkwa, Mam Scotamagi way. I go give away in this time. I can about the Magi way and see got you way. Maga, where's you can about young way? That's what Maki way. Cikâstêpayicikanihk. Kasugi Magagi way. Atagam. Êkwa. Sagastino. Paxmota. Nina no Donald Trump. Mok Sagai or gone Êkwa. Muy big pogo. That's good. To tag Egota. Mugatat. Backed up me a big. Kamamshia. Munote Mam Tebaganan is an anno tegi mam is Nganan. Montreal, Magi, go with you on a Gagonik.
or have had a chance to get the
Kakiogi, this dog with Chigamona. Mr. Blanche, Kieka.
has a substantial supply of critical minerals which are in high
Kanâta, Kiogi go to Majestic. Tapuchi, Tapuitin. Kamona Migone, Tapuitin. Which mark Puri to Chagatik. We talk with Mr. Wojciechowski. Stay you to Tagomaga. Kihci Taganagama. Dancing it to Tamigi way. Kaki to Vachita. Kaki to Pigimaga. I go my min up to me, just help me. I go to that Scatama.
Specifics of Quebec economy. So we are aware of that. But
Mr. Wojciechowski, Dawit and Ninan.
billions of dollars which have been
Maga, stay $30 billion commission. Yeah, that's good. Liberals will give me commission gauge. Stay $7 billion, which is Nissan commission gauge. $40 billion get paid. I see my liberals give my mission gauge.
those are
$9 billion on Nissan commission gauge. $16 billion, Mamo. Muy big. Kiwi, big up semigo, Agiway.
wealth for Quebecers with our
Mapogi in Miopago and Agigo.
the liberals respond.
well,
Liberals took a big scope.
the enormous opportunity that
A woman at the Mapscotaman.
exists in Ontario.
That's what took Mr. Wosok. I got not the Gamote. Kaganataski.
We are one of
That's what you Piops in a Katagi. Stay in town and I got stack down and all gone.
it is a strategic
Stay, we would see Maga, we would see where Kaganataskiota. Pumaga, he say Tama. Can't you do Tama?
do we become
Oh, when I go to Tuske Maya cook.
which is what they want.
I used to get to Mogaman Skiche. Come up here, Mr. Trumpito. Kaki, when I go to pay where the pay wheelchair. Piops me not at our gap.
If I may finish.
He's been not taking Nagishi done.
The opportunity includes in Europe,
I got me go guess by I got a Ramaski. Akio when I
in order to get
Mario get Otama.
the first and last mile fund,
That's Kakiogi way. Quiz Kapasapimaga. At our Yagom Giway.
about earlier in terms of capital, time,
Stom yet on capital. I got that up Kakiogi way. Kakowski to Tamagi way.
Has the floor.
Mr. Singh.
Absolutely, take advantage of the fact that we have incredible amounts of critical minerals in our country. And the way we do that,
Say you, I don't want to be Maga. Agama.
make sure it's got the local community,
Ramute.
creates good jobs,
Thomas, you did a Tagogim. Stay you at Toskion. kagi pasakone no.
And so I absolutely
Kon he ogmin ko ito tas kamaya ko. Mr. Balanche mo takaitet.
what I found
Kiwa me mio pai ko ta. Kom ni pasta man mo mio pai. Utan benawe skill ka liberal ta we ya to ski chik. Mstegi ko mesngia.
on subsidizing
G7.
these are highly
Tas ko tuma pe mi.
wrong thing to do.
Kom mio pai. Ginurna ma ga maninan. Liberals are chipwa kami to ta ki kom Mr. Kearney. Kanakin enchoma. Help me. That's key.
I promise Mr. Polyev next we'll come back and get that question answered. Mr. Polyev.
Mr. Polyev, Kiego. Mr. Kearney. Donald Trump. Mỗi người mà tao này tôi là cả tạt bay cái người mà muốn ta cả tạt bay tạt thế ba mấy người mua mấy người sẽ có mà chỉ sao mình à chỉ bắt tay gan carbon tax sao mình nói thế nếu mà mình gạt cái người có muốn ta bây giờ cái gạt sao cái ta still mình là cái chuyện gì à nhỉ sao cái bay cái bay cái mà nó mà mấy người cầm yếu bay này con mà kêu cái đó tôi kêu cái thế chỉ trong một ngày nào khi tôi cái nó nhiều về tôi tiền cái bé ta mà một ta cái nào ta kêu ta tax credit rồi tháp xuất số cái mới sẽ gặp số này cái chuyện nó ngắm nhau net tax tháp xuất một cái viết to cái vậy hay nhiều gì mới cái cái tầm mà cái chỉ tay mà cái người ta cái ta có bị mà cái này gọi mà mình là sinh tốt tầm mà này gọi exam cái suy tính cái quiz không yếu phải gì vậy kanûn cái tầm mà sẽ có cái gì một cái mà
I want to give you a chance to speak to Mr. Singh's criticism about oil and gas subsidies, and Mr. Polyev.
That's Mr. Singh I did, but it's a naskome. A kira naskoma. Stop doing maybe never talk on a get out in. Stop.
I answered this question last night, but I think the puck.
I think
Yes.
it's much on us. Of course, some of you go on. Could take me right on.
That the biggest component of that
Thank you. About the Maggie way. You go, keystone or motor. Just help me. I go, pay me not to have marketing.
that is an asset of
I go, Mamma. This allow. I'm your pain.
so it's not a subsidy that has disappeared.
That's good. Otama.
The third point, though, in terms of where
I want to
particularly the oil
Tante Keto Tayoma.
which is to become
Just help me. Copy me.
production and transportation of oil. One of the big
Dance get some. I go, dance me no de dotama.
the pathway to it. So that we have
I go, Kakiwi, Kiano, Kambaita, Kamchiminama. Kasugi, Makanamoma, start a ski, Nistonoski, Kiano, in Mimstep, Chidato, Kiano, Yap, Kasuanagano.
By definition, a subsidy isn't when we buy a pipeline. I'm talking about subsidy.
I thought I go give away, yeah.
Separate from the country, oil and gas companies. That's what I'm talking about.
Stop me. I come the tips go right to India. I make a taggy take a ram, because she take tips go come straight to in.
How much will the industrial carbon tax add to the price of a car?
There you go. I talk to pay game anoma. Some.
broader point. Broader point is the entire absence of a climate.
I go my right to Anamoma.
Which
Are you a Miss Kitchapagom?
going to put our industry and our country
I go. Kakio. That's you know. We can make no take away. My Miss Tanga Kiway. Maka Kutaka go in Nagamaski, not yet to game go. We're going to not to date a mock, not pick up Payago.
pay Canadians and
Let's go to what Naganata ski.
responsible climate choices for retrofitting
That's it's pay.
or improving otherwise.
Kiwi, it's me up to me.
Climate policy.
I go, Mamma. And me, I suck a Mexican, a pattern, a great second pattern, a kiwi.
Mr. Carney didn't answer my question. I asked how
Mr. Kenny, Wayne, Nanscomic, I make this pain.
on Canadian steel
Oma, carbon tax.
of a car.
I make that is my daughter, Wayne, Nanscomic. Still, my kiwi. What I used to know, I say, by you, suck me up, say, I
Thousands of dollars.
making it up, though. You don't
Extra
know.
cost.
stay so now.
I actually do know the answer
When
to
you
that
add
question.
On
taxes
kiwi. katawasain taktepa magiway. Kagiway spaghetti that's what helps me no ma. Kakiway tawasain carbon tax top good. That's good giway stegage mi John. Kagiway spaghetti. I got carbon tax katapasip tao I got ma bimio metapasip I got me na. Kiwi, Paramskagono, Kaishi Tigetoma, liberals, I guess you ticket. Aki, spaghetti, and spaghetti, or Aki, Kotak, Pogo, Kanigan up to Gota. Carbon tax on my Paknagi. Action Wednesday. Miopain got here.
You're out there. What are you hearing?
Absolutely.
I go moment here. You got pitting here. What's going on? Big Scott, that's it.
In front of us happening right now.
Mawinêskâtowak, get big, Mina. Mawinêskâtowak.
Communities that never had.
I got kihci, ispayiki. I've got kanâta, go my. Guys, get big.
As soon as he comes
Papa steak. Ni pig. I say that APTN National. Papa takoga. I see no go there. kanâta skitwino in data man. Negam we talk a skata. Mr. Poliev data. That's what comes support that the support that they go and a Kaetamoma. And not the giveaway. I got my new and old gun and no get some gun.
People should be kept
And they talk about Chinook.
informed about climate change because we are
Kihci, young guys, Miskotwâsikosâp. I see no go
very expensive, and I'm sorry.
I got stucky bill kihci.
You are clean,
More Magacha, Chumway,
large scale
Muggy,
sequestration. Sorry, I'm French.
Chumway, more Tagio.
Does not exist.
Muggy, Tachumana, Muggy, Mitago, Motagam, Scott, Amigo moment, and we ispayiki. That's good to map me. Back me, still me. We are not dead to get out Kiano Pogo. At Oscar, that's good in Anota. Mr. Wosky, Kihci, Nakatoga and Anguays. Approach Sugaman and Skiogan, Motanina, not the Ganeman and Soniam. Kiogan Mupay, Spaghetti.
I will get to you because I said I would. But you've taken a couple of hits here, and I want to give you a chance to respond to some of the things.
Kieva, Nascomo.
Thank you. Well, first of all, we do
Nigan. Tapo Nissan Galatoga and Gagi way.
We want to hold
Up with Gagi Capsiporta, Nipia Capsiporta.
standards to protect our water and air.
Nipi, I hate Totame. Magigo. More Tote Nanego. Can I pay you? I got the Tosca and I got this potato. More skit and I got Mamta, human liberal government. Them stay ye la go the Tamaga. More in the Nanagam Tabetin and C69 Mr. Carnegam got quick and wait. More grace carbon tax minama. May go in up and up a cigarette. To go sugar piece and do it and Kakiogi way. I mean up Tamauta.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Carney.
I was born in Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories.
Fort Smith, you talk yan. Extra Yogi. Extra Nitayan Edmonton Mina. You need talking that's his pay.
Canadian governments.
That's good so good. Alberta government and Bill government.
If I may I finish? May I finish?
Gagisitan, but this is Pakne Gagisitan. That's a big and Kimigon.
That's the opportunity.
So then Gaki go with the meal pay. Carbon tax on Mam Scutami. Kaki way. Omaski. Come here, Gaki way, Kaganata Gagi way, and Niego Magitotin.
Our final theme, which is called leading.
I got good tuck. That's his Nikanistami.
Canadians know how to weather a storm. Canadians know how to get through a difficult time.
If, at the end of the day, we end up with the balance of power, Quebec is safer than it could be in any other scenario.
Now is not a time for weakness. Now is the time to take back control.
Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the glove.
Okay, leading in a crisis is a pretty broad theme that allows us to explore many different avenues.
Ego ma kanêta pîsim way. Mr. Carney, getting gan.
Balanced a budget in this country in 17 years.
Muim stegi gota. Sunagano. Te pego asli kia mekti gini gana pinekta kanêta pîsim way. Tansi si chicken.
Let me put this in the context of leading in a crisis, which is
Oma kasmustad na.
got a plan for the worst. Worst is
Kira kira mio pay. Agagi kanêta pay. Gompa kita mi na tansi no te to si chicken. Ego mi na pego. Ego sto.
in a crisis with overwhelming force.
Ego quais pego. Kasugi tame pego. Kira mo mio pay. Kastabito tame pego. Kaskawito tame. Tansi ke do tama. Êkwa. Onîkânêwak como goya. Ni na no te do tama. Como stay, gamesin ganan. Stay gamesin ganan no. Maga 2% sko. Nsi Wednesday gamesin ga. That's what federal government am gamesin ga. Kakiwe ispayiki. $1 trillion Antoniana Skutera. Kasuna pain. Mr. Carney Giego.
In a time of crisis, Mr. Polyev, question for you.
I go here. Mr. Polyev. Kispen Kichimo Commander Skiogia. Kasitos Kagono, Aputi, Kistano, Kasitos Kono, Dayton, Ogi, Mr. Gosiowski, Kasitos Koya. Kakiugi, Kisitos Koya, Quista, Tanse. Vistagis nakatogasutsi. Kistano pogo. Vistano kasogapia. Moganata magwago. Neo mistegi way. Katawe. Uma. Omutasquat kagirulinto. Magagan tonga sogapenan. Akiwi way kasogape. Moga kanungi stamagwago. Samagan siganak. Egun kahkio maksine data manaksilitia data skies penocha muy kamiscoche paki güey mi che tomota samakansiga na kaya music takakatos ke chik gan oda pien tapia na singa gam na katogan mogia stogoso gamaski triple.
We'll get more details, perhaps, as we go forward.
Muerto stop.
Given the U.S. trade
Yeah.
war, should any talk
Mr. Belashi, that's the activity.
be put on
Okay. Mr. Gosiowski, can I get out here? Why? We just know Rama.
Is over, and that's a good thing.
Keys, Maps go Chicago, get on. Nista. Kawicha, Pogogia, Mr. Gosi, Mr. Gosiowski, the guys.
Which is a terrorist organization.
We talk an Atama, Kanga.
To be the leader of
Opita Togoga.
understand that. I know the Prime Minister.
I go.
But I can offer
Muy no tenía ni.
responsible
Maga.
partners.
Gachitos kagan.
If
Gachitos kagan. Kispen. Pues kanabmwa gon tanisan Mr. Gosiowski. Tas go zum piap zum Mr. Kapix kono maneo Mr. Gosion.
paid in order to have real equality.
Ya kyogi go kamyo pain êkwa. Kispen gichen goya go pues kanabmwa go nisan gachitos kaganan. Kanâta aywa kasok gachitos kana na guys. Tas go Donald Trump magan gichen nan.
You seem very eager to talk about healthcare, so let's talk a little more healthcare right now.
Anus kan natoyo ni mam skut taman ge tips ko. Stegi go yichi twain. Das gut sonia.
What do you do?
Maga tansigi toten.
Giving away money without.
Muga gi mamege.
We're in a healthcare crisis.
Gi sonia gi mamesna. Mega tomtane mugo je sega poe. Utaski. Anotin nista anotin auto vigostigo ge mi te peo te kanata hi check que te yak que no es aski peo check kanata hi check subscription go we start that check kanata hi check
They're overstressed.
eknago
And what we're seeing is more
tatoske sago ge sam stay toske check
hurting our public universities.
mais kago go ma usama toske ni mi check stay aga ma pa kanor nama muego ma sunya ota
Private clinic lining the
muego is capacity tapskotiaga just segogia. Kuisa brada toki. Ei sino kistano. Komanachita ja.
And so that's my commitment. I'm going to
Muera. Kasona ipayiki goi.
Okay, we now go to open forum debate, and perhaps Mr. Polyev, you get the first word.
Êkwa, 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 onîkânêwak ya, kapikskwatam kahkiegwe ntawitahwa. Kienikan, Polyev, kienikan. Aya, suskwatso maya, kagya kamimuya, Ukraine, kawichihaya kik suskwats. Êkwa, ntawihtamâtowak ya. Kahkiegwe pagwisi si suskwats Ukraine kagi suichihaya kik. Êkwa minawa taskucho Putinawa. Tunawa kahkiegwe suskwats higwi pamina higwana pagwisi higwi siktemahtasot. Taskuts minuma natural gas kahkiegwe inaginamua chigegunianihe. Êkwa homa taskutsoma kianoma Canada hoche. Kakaskitaw natural gas kitigit sa hamuachik Ukraine magigwa Putinawa nantopo kakwis naginit. Êkwa karniawito mstahaya Canada hugaya kwaigi mstahaya ikiya pitakwa hatsagaya iwichi hatsagoge Ukrainians mstagosuagoge magigwa tapwe kaki kuiwichihaya kikistano Canada taskuchoke France oke igoke European nations wistawa kakionot imamo kamato wichihatsak taskuchomikam kaisikatak the new world êkwa minaya Polyev wiawa taskuchoma free trade igi tax ka êkwa mawia muintawitam foreign aid taskuch muigigwe kwama foreign aid mamskotamaya kawichihato he Ukraine magigwa kianoma taskuchuke liberal suke we all we kone kawichihok êkwa hawa Mr. Singawito taskuchoma kahkiegwe pagaw yako maskia êkwa ekmakuimutsik pagwisise taskuchuke trade war wawuchaya Trump mstaisiki tasut mstahe makuimuya mstahe pagawya imakuimutoma tansi ikwi sipaminata isino hawa Trump êkwa hawa ikituitawaya karni 43 billion taskuchi kwemi ikwigiskinat okay taxes kaitakik magigwa taskuchuke taskucho House Leader o Mr. Karniawa wiki tasuit tunana pokikwana kamse msikiskana suswa taxes magigwa tansamagigwa magagisa kaskita tiwa taskucho ma healthcare oman tunumi kwame imago tasutsi kwame maguimuya magania ya karni new magaityan mugigwenga giskinina ya healthcare itowa tunaka kami mon kakwiwichi tasya ni kwama awena mako magagita pu tawaya ito singawa maka karni ito kakigigwe oma giswichi tasunan pukita suskwats gakwiwichi tasunan koyas taskuchuma $150 billion gawichi tasunan yawana kamama wahaya koyas ngitahanan yawana sunya o koyas kapatsit koyas ngitahanan maganya Blanchard awito niya need oma taskutsaya tapwe kagimamo kamato yawana kawichi to yakama magaya muyo manintawihti na ya kanutinto muintawihti niya kwa masuskwat kispayik magigwa kistano mapugo kakwe kamama wichi taso ya hampo kistano tasko tsoma miume inutito inutito tian mi kwa tsoma karnio inuti kwitsa magawa karni kispino maya Quebecois Canada kispin muigigwe majority government mi gawin conservatives apoy apoy chimina NDP wiawaw apoy chiminoge Quebecois Bloc muy suskwat so magiaya ntun taskuts mui inuhtiwitsi hatsik taskuts ay sinuag taskuts itimuin ntun nakakikikwe taskuts inakatsihtain magikwa pitos ksnagutsigan hikwa kia taskuts inuhtipiagu kamatuin kikwe naisto katutaman muintawihtaman kutagawiak kutaga askiak kawitsis hikwa hikpuma kahkiuma kagima mo kamatuya kisipmpahtâ kuma kawi tapntuya taskuts Alberta huotse puchi Quebec mamo wichitutan mamo pikskuitan hikwa karnia wito tanihmaga squat mamo wichitutan mamo pikskuitan mamo pitan Yuksupoki sa kaskitaya tapoy kikoy tipi mo niwe kahkiyo kawi tapntagog mayo pituwe anoma maga humagikwe kamagwe mo kasigikwe ahkikwe oma kitaskina tapoy oma uhtompoko kahkiyo kamamo kamatoy ahkikwe kanâta matoy kwamma hikwa hukaya premiers onîkânêwak kahkiyo kawi tapmanok minok taskut nihiya hukaya okimânâhk kahkiyo yuknikangam kamamountoya kawi chihtoya kamamo piksquattoya kapiksquatama hikwa hukaya provinces kahkiyo okimânâhk kawi chihtotsik kapiksquatitsi kahkiyo susquats uitapntotan susquats ikwamma ikusama pokkikwe kakisakaskitaya taskutuke huke Canadians huke kahkiyo kikwantun sihkats imamountotsik kasitoskama huomaya Canada kai sihkatik kasitoskama kahkikikwe hikwa waya planseito hikwa hituya muya macho makia piago karni hiutsipiksquasin tamta toma ipitan kapipiksquasin mach piago ko pipiksquan hikwa hukaya provinces kutagagin tawimatsagaya kahkiyo kamamoptsika mamo piksquitsik hikwa niam wichiskwe pipiksquasin hikwa hawaya Gaza homa kamam skutina nomina kas kutagakukay sinog no tipi tamago matansaya Gaza homa tansi wami tastig min tansi ispayiki kuti kwa hawaya Mr. Singawito kahkiyo mapogo kahkiyo kamamo sakitoya kamamo natamatoya magi kwa hawa karniwe titam hikwa New Democrats hutna kwa ninan utniake ninan kahkikikwe kawichitnan ikwamba ninan kahkikwe kanatamatnan ikwamina hikwa homa taskutsuma Middle East homa hikwa Gaza tansuma ya Canada ikota kagisnata magitsik maga polyafo wito hiknikok Hamasuke susquats muikweskikwe itotamagikote mstahigo taskutsuma September 7 mstahe ikikwaya kahkam kissaki kunyakange mstahe ikimsuanatsihatsaka isinoa magikwa Palestinian sugu wistawaw intawihtama kamiupmatsik ikaikikwe kasigikutsik kakui punpaiko manutntun pokwange kakui wichihaya kikuge taskutsuma Canada kapituhtitsukuke pihtakwahakan nakuke tapuikwa kagiwitsik tunikwe kuti wistawaw kamiupmatsik hakawatamok inuhtikiwitsik wistawa ikaikikwe kanutntuit kakui nakinamahoma nutntunuma magikwa koyas kakui piksquattoya kakui nakinamahoma hiku msteka maiwichihtotsik isinong msteka nutntotsik mahte koyas astatan ikwama mamountotan kahki umoma Canada hu ikwamba singuya wito uhtawan kipoko Palestinians ho kitapui ikin paiktimahitsik taskutsu Gaza minoge uistoi sinog miniktikum steikiki wan paiktimahitsik mstahin pahitsik hiwa taskutskia polyaf hiwa karni kiama magikwekwe siwami nagatohik êkwa Carney kioma kaitu ituiwia pogamaya kakuina kinamahnikan uma mstegan otunto higo hogaya kautni tsugo kaisi kati tsik hostages higune kangimina poka kui pakni tsik kakiwi tsik êkwa tantima kumikwa kitohtimaka kikwe kismin muikuiwitsi tasunano kistano êkwa Palestinians oge êkwa Israel oge kakui miwitsi tutsik haito chaya hi wikitsik êkwa Iranians wista ikuta nstahi iwitsi tasutsik ikwama êkwa homa kaisi katakik ukaya kutagagog international partners kaisi kati tsik kunakang pongmina wista kamamsiwati tsik awitsi tasutsik êkwa hoaya plansay ito êkwa ito yawa mstahoma kutagagog taskutsuk Islamists tunog mstahigunik iktimahi tsik mina mstahi piutota tsik êkwa kakipi tuhti tsik wistawao kapintotakik igunikuke kutagagaisinowak taskuts genocideum kaisi katakik tansis tapuagitakik wistak kuhtom kaki pakni tsik wistawao kaisno sunamasatsik tansis tapuagitakik muikatats kaktimahi tsik hamuso tapuagihtamonowao maga wistawao Quebec mistahi taskuts wistawao pigama kistano pitos kistanota kitaskina pitos kakui totama kikwe pamuis kikwe okmi pitos kakwintawa witsi tasya kakwintawa wi suatama êkwa hoaya poliafa uya mamsko tamaya immigration êkwa haya taskutsoge 100 million taskuts pihtakwa haganak mstahi pihtakwa hitsik magikwa muinan tawikwa kiwikuak no te paihtamoa ogekwa waskehkana tanti magikwa kakiwikitsik êkwa mahtuya paktantama kakwikis piksko pamoiske kapa piksko inaya Mr. Singh êkwa hawaya Mr. Carney wito kwaya suma pokwaya kwayas kakui nagati tamahoma kakui mpaitaya umaya immigration kaisi katami kwayas kakui tastata no samgewi mamstegi pihtakwahan oguk pihtakwahakan nakuta haya Canada êkwa muichis kuma kiki speaks kwanya no tuawawa kani stahona pio êkwa pitos homa sikata makaya leaders choice homa sikata makigo nakuge onîkânêwak kaya kakiki wewe no ti kwitsu no ti mamskota ko kagi na wasuna mak kiwa ino ti pics kata ki êkwa kinwâpahtâ sing Mr. Carney ino ti kwitsim tanoma taskutsuma chair omigi tagwin taskutsukaya tunaya big investments êkwa tamokiwa maya aya higute higi hapin higi witsi taswini wa migi ni kanista manokaya uyutsiwin no goge kakigi we kampaitatsik kistikutegi witsi huin êkwa uma kapi kui tamigui anoma ino ti kui jimtan Mr. Carney tanti uma kichinatske witsi huin Mr. Carney toawa êkwa Canadians niya nuichiwak yuktini nuichihuan tunuma ko isaya itasti kaya umakaisigatami track record to mania tunimio sekoma nimasnaikan êkwa Quebec uma kaya kispin auya kikwitsima uma suniauge mau in 2008 aya tonim stegi witsi tasuyano ta Quebec ton ko ya sigi tasta na ya masnegana suniau ko ya sigi tahak tunuma kinuisumi gi toskiano ta private sector kai sika tigoma ton mina ya mugi ko no chikimutn ton ko ya saya muini kais no maka toskian Mr. Singa wantana I kaya hasti miusu squadzo here. Êkwa nisto mchuip na mo mawaske kanoma waske kana waske kanikiun êkwa mina taxes nisto mchuip na mo yo êkwa ntonaya millionaire sum kawicho aganin tiumina magiwa karniwi itoya na tamaso itoya mstaho kaya utatos kahaga naguge kwaya sonia kiwag kwaya ski kwaya mikuwag tasko taxes mina tapwe ngigis kinananak magiwa ukto kutaga kugeng kita kono atoskiu na kiwe kusitayan msawats ngakastano makakikiwe atoskiu na mstaikiwe kia pitsaya ayang kapitan mayopit ano mania niga niwianya utatoskiu kugem stenga tap mau kasonio koskayak tunume taskuchuma skill street o magaisi katakik iptangaya uskaya kaski huogi kwa wîwâwihtamâtowak hundreds of thousands careers yuwa magaisi katak kuhti paino ikoni toskiuna mstahami kwan mag kispayo kya absuta pitkuyannia.
Thank you for that. Monsieur Blanchet, you have the next question. To whom would you like to put it?
Okay, wîwâ. Mr. Blanchet, kîwâ. Mr. Carney.
I would say skillfully the questions of Mr.
Tunumaya. Kwaya stop ya tui biga kui chi himuin. Kwaya ski kui big screen na toya. Magaya kawi tamatin pe ki kwaya ski tas tamat noma. 2008 huta. $10 billion ikimi tsago kaya sihi paisa ko siha tsagina Ontarian maga 16 billion kaitwit igiawihi tsag lumber o Tahoma Canada magaya muy kwama kwaya si kwama ya yu ko titastan muy kwaya sko itaswati ni kwama maga kwaya suma tasku kwama green investment plan ki si gatok 50% iwama kagi nastatsik iwama fossil fuel iwama muy iwama ya ko iskuitastan fossil fuel suge muy ko iwama ya uchitastan iwama magiwa tasku chu waske kana prefab waske kana ka kwat si tsakatigi igutua inotia apatsitain intawitaman igutua ko si tsakatigi magiwa pitos kitani kwe kwa mina pitos kita suatin mini kwa ma taskuts sunia awawa kagi Bermuda taskuts Cayman Islands billions of dollars ikuti iki taxes ikuti muigi kwa apatsitawa ikuti taxes ikuti to tahatsik soniawa muiga ta taxes katipahakik in Canada kayatsik taskuto Mr. Singh Polyev iwanistamina kaitoyan mahti pagtantamaga big squid yuksiptamagia maga karniyo ito igo maya Canada ho mawiyawao Canadians don kwayas imiasni kaya hatsumoni hayatsik usam kakigiwe mstaigiwe igi apatsitatsik imiopaig kwayasigi tastatsik taskutsugik snamagiog igo amino kaya skotioga notnakik igoge pogawi igoge utatoskiog pogita ka toskitsik igunikmina igunegoge kwayas itatoskitsik kwayas kakigiwe mstaha imiwatsik kwayas kakigiwe masneganegi tastatsik kakigiwe utatsuno kwayas itastatsik igunegoge mstahe giwichihananak Polyev kikwa mahtiwa kia kuitsikimo Polyev kikwa ikinoti kuitsikimon Mr. Carney mahti saya gamatsi tanaya nini ganaya kawitamat naya taskutsuma kakigiwe pahaki te kiwa mini gomste kakigiwe ka mamaya kamka kiapit siuma kitam niwaski kiapit saya hititaman kuten gawin noma iguni homa kawapatama piawan giwe ispayitazik tas kutsuma iguni goge Conservative Party wiawaw 2020 Trudeau mstahi higiwihtamâtowak Carney Economic Advisor higitakotawa Carney Trudeau mstahi higitipima tiwa 2021 utagagituin umagakigiwe kanpahagitik tas kutsigo magaitami inflation governments higitatsik tas kutsawa Trudeau ikawa liberal government soniawa kusihatsik susquats kakamusihatsik iya kakuitipahaki kome inflation iwa tas kutsuge mitsit ukawimaw mitsit awasak inotekatitsik magiwe mitsonia stad yayatsik aya wîwâ magiwa kia kiwa Trudeau ka gitat kitapahto maya homa masinpaitsikan kantotamotsa kaponi tamas kekoma higom stay piktima tasui koma kia Trudeau stay sino ki piktima hai ko ki wimpai ipino te katitsi ki piktima kistik magiwa
mu mi gota Trudeau go mu gota ya nipo magiwe huksi huchi taunista.
Are you accusing your Liberal Party of lying about your role? Because it says today you can go to the Liberal Party website.
Tas kutsu mitu no ma Liberal Party anta kagitapahti namma homa kaisiktapahtama no tansi swaskoit ni sooma hykta suuniagam gomma niganapian higomma kage hakamita na suuniao hyktamania kagiapian anta 2% tamegota piegon hyktan anton miopo hygase hygomma mi gatsuma tapahtama kispin kakio nani supikskog muichiskoya hygo Polyev
And that's time. Mr. Carney.
Mamo pikskog Mr. Carney kiegwa how nieganga guichimson gigoy
I'm going to ask a question which
hinuti guichigimu ano magigoy tun stay piguitamigo noma usam migoatsuma
Who is it to?
tunoma susquats puisi sigapo migoats Mr. Polyev guichimago
the challenges in the Middle East,
Middle East tuma
Russia's aggression in Ukraine.
Russia oge kabapikski tsigwisto China wisto oge
We have the United States, which is fundamentally changing
kichimugmanaski minoge
commercial relations.
Peter Sismin aseisitapahtamuk
And in the context of that,
Hugo Magakio Gamampanitamum
Mr. Blanchet, Mr. Singh,
Kakio Blanchet, Mr. Singh Nia Kakio Manton Smagan Saguta Nistanan Igono Maya
but I felt it was important that I had it so I could be in a position
Magapugo Nista Intoimak Nista Kuita Skimchig Mr. Polyev
50 days if my
Hugo 950 days so Mase Kisigawa
get your top secret security.
Kiuma
You've refused.
Kistoma
Why?
Kistoma yeah.
Well, first of all, I have got my security clearance when I was a minister. I got top secret clearance at the time.
Minister Gagiapian Haseguta Nigaskihon Muil tu Taiman Higomagagat na Maswan
Clearance briefings that I would be gay under
Magigo Manton Kisnama Kagonoitaman Higoma
matters of foreign interference.
Kapik Scott Tamano Kigigo Haputram Ganagingun Higone Taskuto Magaitanum Canada Beijing oge we all Unigani Nisom Gapahtâ Higomania in Deutaman Queska Pixquian Maga Ganagin Gunigoma Thomas Lan Claire Nagaginiganit
would have accepted the kind of gag order
Igom
that your
muts
Trudeau's government
katapuihtam
to impose on me. And it's
igom
I made that decision because
kapakngoyan kapikskuyan
the case where one of the
itihtaman
candidates
taskutsama tiegana taskutskat kawida schemes
to China under
yukta China ngagui spits sa hatane
or imprisonment
una nantun kakpaho tana taskuts igona kiegina giningista magagista China magtigagidutin gista sunya gagindon tamain magagtama muts na tamota na Canada tsaisin ona igonia ngipigskwistam huaw usamama muts pakna mana maganingin goyan
I think people at home have seen
Yuga, I seen wîwâwihtamâtowak mogum. Tunai mano magapm big squee planche go singoge. You know him when again go go. You go near wîwâwihtamâtowak mataskut. Ngaskune go masnegan katna masuan. China mataskut.
That's our time.
Yuktaga nagitita no gomma.
Still a few minutes down the road, so we have a little bit of time for
Niguma upsis noitina na.
short questions.
Hugo hoy kagwichigi mo.
Go left to right as I look at you right now, Mr. Polyev. You get the first question.
Ha Polyev kenigan.
Have not offered a hard timeline as the other
Hugo mam muts
Canada's NATO
mam skuta manoma.
spending on defense.
Uma 2% to magi goya. Smagan siga na go chachik.
that said
2030 uma yeah.
our trade
Uma kao big squat tami ko.
their priority to see us increase our
Uno mnedo uma.
one of the things I will say to the
Smagan siga na go
the more free trade
Kichu mo manas kyo ga sino go che.
the faster we can
Kuesuma ka tamtuya ki goya.
and we will use that
Igwa
to have
kuesmina.
workers in the north beside an aircraft fighter jets
Kiwit no ku tio ya. Pemehaga na.
fill the vacancies
Igunuge
of the armed forces
kagi ukti kues kapmusihta ya. Mamo
military
wichito ya.
birth of our country. We will rebuild
Spio magagi machipai yo
stand
askia.
Thank you, Mr. Polyev.
Igunuge nudngiwi no go ke kuichano.
Consumer carbon tax.
Mr. Carney, igunuge kanagi na manoma.
Your predecessor
Carbon tax sa magasigatig
that the Liberals made
tansuma.
less affordable for Canadians.
I think
Tun stagihtiyo igwa matas goods uksamit Mr. Carney igumo mangitan
carbon tax
nigano ma carbon tax so manigan
become too divisive for Canadians.
igwa man tunam stay and tun aimi ogo Canada sa isinog
They received more
ati
than the tax,
kiwichi gog
but some had
magatit
represented
mo ya
that it was a tax without a rebate. It became divisive.
igwa mo chimia oki go
It made a
igwan
relatively
tun
modest contribution to overall
skich pai ho ga isinog tun
stack. Made
igwan ginagin ni gama
respect to the capital gains tax has come up again.
umi go
This is
capital gain gama
we need to build this
ugumuma tun
builders, innovators,
kagusita kapmamia sige go
And that's time.
ay sino aga tuskiun gausita chik ko ichihi chik immigration guma
First of all, we need immigration.
tans Mr. Singum gaitan kintoy mano u gaya hagamas kiwinog kapitri chik
Speak to farmers.
kamusita chik stigiwinog
We need to be able to set
atuskiun maga
we welcome to our country.
kakskita matamay go kapitro hichik
We've got an
nahigo
that makes that determination based on our
igo
economic.
muin igo nanga ko itapma ka ngai sino ka nagatuhi chigo magwes
Lack of investment from liberal
mina magakskita mama liberals igo conservatives muimsta he
fix.
Uchtipa mogi go askega nanta ya magigo uchitano ogune tantamina gawige
We'll fight back to protect
igo NDP maninan kana tamatnan igogen
I believe is now
kapitro hi chigogun stam
the carbon tax. Do you think that's fair?
It's not entirely true. It's
tansuma carbon tax mua magichina chamegom hitago tipayiki taskutsuma Quebec
emission companies
in hugugen stahogaya
to reduce their emissions.
kapagitna ko gaya
Then they have to pay
carbon ma
into a fund.
kispin muy guamut utnamok hiwange aiwag well paigi haog
Is California
higwana sunya gwana
huge
iktana gapats tana California og taskutsu gu tap sumayak
be compared to what Europe does?
taskuutuga Europe huista oksiduttamakum. Igomina kaskitiup mi hiktimina ja peakonekskagitu no muiminem stagihtiu. Aga asumina.
And 30 seconds this time.
Olef keego kenigan. Igumga gituin sibi siuma. Vinagenatsik. Keab siksi duttaman. Sibi siuma. Kapiek wio kampaitamasutikuge. Kakigigo puawe tasku twisto utnamasutik masnagana. When Kakio Canada, we all can do thoughts. You go in a Piagonina. Boy, can do that. The Gusto, Casino, Iditago. Tansum legal tax, Maya, Kanagin send here. Kabmatus, Kataskotic. New Ditamanuma, Kispinuma. Kaki mamo ma tapahta moma katago tipahiwi iwama kaki go piekon kisik tapahta ma
and competitiveness. So we need to
iwami nagap mamuniuhto
including
iwama katuski ona magap matos kap musihta
And that is time, Mr. Singh.
OECD magap mapata.
Balance of power after this election is over. What would
Sing êkwa kispin ke tan tamego kai tagihtina maya kispin hoyag oichat mitsun waskegana mina sibi siang gaya ngana tamuanan minan ganagan nagini nanan hatas kutso karneo gaito tama mino his kasunyaga stocks so huxi so he uno ga sugatoski tigo ga kanata muichik kia pegon planche tansagai dutin tamago itagihtiu kismen munan togi kawita taskim go anistanan magigo Canada taskutuyo Canada ga taskuts kapnatamago aninan maganista nanoma taskuts Quebecois magitapsia kueski siktapm goya nistanan kawita taskim goya usamni nanam maga kaisipahta ya natamaso nistanan pahpiegiwa ibunga guitsimtago Blanchet genigan tansoma kigo gipogati no magapampahta muimsten piwihtamun nutipikskatin maga kispino mawipats kapampahta taskutsu mantan kues kapikskatto taskutsa a Canada uge Canada iguas ya Quebec kispino maya kamuita toski maya ko gapu kapikskati tsugo ga gicho Trump uge
Same question, Mr. Singh. Your biggest regret of this?
Oya sing gemaga
As I would love to have. It's a short campaign.
kispini santan aisinog michita ya aywa kapnanakskok samtsemas no maya kapampahta inutipihto kaisinog igoti aroa kapikskistamok kis kananto titamog muitio ustagutian maga ngagamimun kapikskistamatagog mioya onse kakege katipniame kiamata mu utsapntagog Mr. Carney kiamaga
it's the same answer.
new titaman pegono kai tita
It is an amazing country.
koi miastu mu maya ski kaya uma
And the responsibility that comes with it of being with Canadians
higo mantan staya Canadian so ge kapam nantuhta chik
and ideas from
tansisip match chik
being working to be
higo mi nama katoskata magakio
but the regret is
higo mantan niste chigihtaman maga
and it is a short
piguihtin mina usami koig higo igimsag higo usamatio
with these two gentlemen.
higo nuge niste sepegon
Really big
ipihtaman
in front of a flag and greet everyone.
kamamo mamopia igunan gaki matamskog nantuhtog tansminis
that was always touching.
tansisip matsik
Faith in me or in
imuntun
but we've been in such a rush.
kaisik tap mgoya kapin pikskwat goya magantun tas usam tas tapa nanina igwama igtamu pikskwat tagog mamtunim tagog nanaskum nanaya polev gaki yogo mamo pikskwi gigo hoina nanigan Mr. Singh gigo kipaman kispino mendi piso mahusam yutnia yaon kapin gagisi tamina atoskion mamina wipta arsa ganoimitsik iguma kapahta eguma NDP michito gigo it's high go tiaroa magigo kapn nagina mioma himamiasik mioyaon miumachihun koitagihtigina mitsun waskaigan iguitsimta gogoma goichihig natamata Canada imamio sugoma taskut sitoskama aisino gomyano Carney gego igumantun maguimun tun skatsoma Donald Trump gait dago kakigui wasagamas kisus skatsigui miskotastat magagiano mataskut sigui pigunguya taskut katipimguya kuk kakigui pi kakigui skatsumaski magagiano magakigo mamo mate ngaskiun papihon kanut no goge na tamano goge gatoski tsiguta mina kusitana noma sunyao kakegigo igo witsig ai Blanche kego 260 years so maski minaiwak igumani stugusimu gog
Canadiens français devenus des Québécois.
Ugunugu gigahio Quebec goge aisino minukdut iwatapto taskut Canadians taskut gahio mamo apsuya magigo ni nanoma pitos nistanani isagapoya uma Quebec muy piegon magigo kagiwita to skim to nano kisno nut na Mr. Trump
Did someone start
iguma
began and get to the stage?
Canada ma taskutuma
A single mother and adopted by school
igipiego pigihit
me to believe in the incredible
angawi
anyone.
igo gagigsnamaksian Tangi iksnamu tigu iksnamagiuskog gispin sugatoskian ngagaskion gispin tamason nga kegigoy gisno magat pagin mitsun hapuaskekan hapu kapigwitaman hoassaguhtse mutta tikse katatskispay magagasugatoskatama pugo hoaskekan kamioyain kakegigoma pues kamiskut nama umugakyo kap mamo pixkoma 60 ego tahta punito bronze iguno tipska tauxi igo mood satastana noman leaves se pittigo goge igo habsoge kiutaho gisto iksama isitana no Piago sapaski igo April 28 igo ka mawinêskâtowak ka gisbuit sahina omina anman masnega na kamigoig election Canada kagatnaigog mpahtâ gahki oisinog Steve Paikin ya